Hello, pursuers. Welcome to another episode of the Pursuit of Happiness podcast. I am your podcast host, Naz Kazimi. Today, we are going to be reading and I'm going to be answering some listener questions. So, I'm so grateful for the ones that have written in. I know I keep encouraging you guys to do so after each episode. So, I do really appreciate the DMs that have come in, the emails, some of the voicemails that I have gotten. Again, I'm just editing everything myself, so I'm just trying to work with how do I kind of put it on the pod and keep everyone's identity secret or whatever or however they want to be exposed, etc. So still working on that, but let's just get started because some of these are so good. Okay, let's go with real life dilemma type questions. I want to quit drinking, but my social circle revolves around it. What do you suggest that I do? Okay. This is a good question. This is a complex question. This is not a one shoe fits all question. Okay. And there's no, and it's also not a one shoe or one size fits all. My bad. One size fits all answer. Okay. I think the fact that you're already thinking about quitting or that the desire is there is the first indicator that that's the step that you need to move towards, okay? We cannot deny that the society that we live in, I think anywhere in the world, I think the world in general, this is one of the things that seem to be very globally accepted, is that drinking is very social. Drinking is very, at every event, at every celebration, at every ceremony, at every grief party, funeral, alcohol is there. I think it comes down to the individual. It really depends on how you deal with alcohol, okay? And you want to quit drinking, but everybody else around you is continuing to drink. You cannot control other people. You can only control yourself. So initially, and I'm going to say what I did. Initially, you have to remove yourself from those environments so that you can really flex that muscle and really get strong on the not drinking. Okay? It's just like someone that's dieting. I always refer everything back to fitness because fitness is such a good metaphor for everything, really. There's no shortcuts. It's going to reflect on your body if you are not working out or, working on your fitness, whatever that means to you. Same thing with drinking. But no one can do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. And typically when people first start losing weight, getting into fitness, they remove themselves from environments that hold them back. Okay? If all your friends are drinking and you don't, the first question you ask yourself is, if I tell them I'm not going to drink, are they going to pressure you to drink? Are they supportive people? Are they people that you just party with? You have to really decipher your friends groups that way, okay? If these are people that are going to be able to support you and you have leaned on them for many other things and they've shown that support, so you've gained that trust with them, you know that they're there for you and not because they just want to have a good time or whatnot, or that they will respect that you want to quit drinking. So maybe around you, they're going to keep it at a minimum. Then by all means, you share with your friends, you share with the closest people. Guys, this is my next kind of step and I really need your guys' support on this. You can also still say that to everybody that you hang out with. And if you find that there's ones that just don't really continue to support or are continuously trying to shove it in your face to get you to drink, I think that is not only the best indicator of the people that you shouldn't have around you as you're quitting drinking, but moving forward, the type of people that you need to let go of. Because you're going to enter a new lifestyle, you're going to enter a new phase of your life. And people, I don't drink, and I haven't drank for 5 years. And there's people around me that drink, and I go out with them and they drink. But they're certainly not ordering shots for everyone at the table. I mean, I just gone to a wedding and my mom and my dad and my brother, they all had shots. I mean, my daughter were there, but they're not it's not an everyday thing. They're not encouraging it. They're not putting it in my face. There's an open bar. I went and I got a non-alcoholic beer. This after 5 years, there's so many options, but it took me 5 years to ever decide that I want to have a non-alcoholic beer, because I just didn't want the trigger. And to be honest, it didn't trigger me at all. Because once everyone starts drinking and getting sloppy and the words start slurring, you become so grateful that you decide not to drink. And sometimes the gratification is an instant. In the moment, you're like, this sucks. Everyone's having a good time. I gotta go home. But you sleep good. You're not out till 6 a.m. or even the next couple days partying. You wake up the next morning, your lifestyle has changed. Now you're hitting the gym, or you're doing your meditation or journaling or whatever it is that you start doing, because it's always replacing one habit with another. And typically we want to replace it with a better habit. So for me, it was working out. It was reflection, self-development, walking. At one point it turned into shopping, so I did lose a lot of money, but at least I have such nice clothes now. But it's really something, again, let's refer back to fitness, that you have to work on every single day. There's never a day that you wake up and you're like, you know what? Today I'm going to take a break from not drinking and I'm going to drink. It's the same thing with fitness. You never wake up one day and say, today I'm going to take a break from my fitness lifestyle. I mean, you could take a break from the gym. Sure. That's like not going to a AA meeting if that's your thing. Or maybe not meeting up with your your sober friends just for that one day. You kind of just need a break. But you're never going to just start drinking. Like, a fitness person is never going to sabotage their fitness for one day with everything that they built. But some do. And when they come back, it's harder to come back because they feel so much shame around. They're like, I just ate so much food yesterday. I feel like I just completely ruined everything. And that's also fine. But it's the things that you do every single day that are really going to help. That includes the people that you're around, the places that you go, and the things that you do. People, places, and things. Okay? And for me, it was easy to not really care what other people thought about me because I've been a loner my entire life. But that's not it for many people. And I understand that. And the best advice that I can give is, this is when you really start finding out who your friends are, who the supportive ones are, who are the ones you're going to be keeping around as you move on into the next phase of life and whatnot. You're still able to go to social events. There's so many non-alcoholic drinks. Sometimes I do go to events, and instead of just getting like a Diet Coke, I'll just get it in a short glass. I'll get a soda water with lemon or lime, and I'll drink it like really slowly, because sometimes if you chug that back and it's really fizzy, it's like, ooh, although on a hot summer day, it's really nice. But there's so many ways that you can kind of feel like you're drinking without actually having to drink. But also, I think it's so empowering when you finally realize that you don't actually want to do it. So trust me when I say the first couple weeks will be hard. You are going to lose people inevitably. It's the name of the game. But those are the people that you realize they were just there for a good time, not for a long time. And you are going to continue on life. You're going to flex that muscle. And by flexing, I mean you're going to build it like a fitness. You're going to work those glutes, but it's actually the sober muscle, aka glutes or whatever. You're going to work it so much every single day that when you're around people, you're going to start to learn your boundaries. And you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to have just one Diet Coke. Or I'll just have water. Who cares? You don't even care. I'll have a coffee. Keeps you up, Or you're going to eventually have your favorite sort of mocktail, and you'll go out with your friends and you'll have one, but you're going to be so much more engulfed in your fitness that you don't even need to have these sugary drinks. And your friends will order beers or a glass of wine, and that's going to be totally okay with you. These are the friends that you need around you. And you're going to be at social events, and that's fine. Imagine playing golf not drunk. Like how much more better you would be. I'm just saying, like, you'll get better at it. It's always one day at a time. Like, don't think so far in the future. Like, what if in like 3 years we want to go on a girls trip or a guys trip and like I can't drink? Don't think that far ahead. Just work on the dailies every day. All those things will fall into place. Every day is a learning lesson. Life is just about learning lessons. And you're going to learn so many. And this next phase of your life is really going to bring you closer to your authentic self. And I want to, first of all, give you congratulations for wanting to quit and just knowing that it's time to quit, or just even trying it out. because again, we live in a society where it's so okay to drink alcohol when I think it's the most destructive. I've never seen someone smoke a joint and go beat up their wife and kids. But I've seen someone smoke a joint, I've seen someone drink alcohol and they go beat up their wife and kids. They beat up people. They drink and drive. They kill other people while they're drinking and driving. I've seen people smoke a joint and they're too scared to get behind the wheel. They're tripping out. They're paranoid. Mind you, I've heard of the other way around too. They get behind the wheel and now they can't. But for the most part, it like makes people much more paranoid, you know? But then we have this destructive thing like alcohol, and it's just so widely accepted and okay and socially okay. But I promise you, you will be okay. Stay true to yourself. Write down exactly what you want, your goal. I want to quit drinking. It's not serving me anymore. I want to wake up early in the mornings. I don't want to have that groggy feeling. The best is not having that groggy feeling. And like you wake up and you're like, I wake up positive. I'm such more of a morning person. I think at night I get a little bit more like tired and I just want to be alone. Whereas in the morning when I first wake up, I don't mind being around people. I don't mind going out for breakfast. I don't mind being in the gym. I don't mind being social. But I find it opposite for a lot of other people. They wake up much later, or it's groggy, or the mood swings are just too like you let go of all these things, you know, and it's just such a power, and you make new friends, new friends that are aligned with what it is that you are turning the new leaf to, you know, like trust me, just believe in yourself and don't let other people influence you. Because like being a drunk all the time or going out drinking every weekend and blowing imagine all the money you're going to save, all the vacations you can take, all the clothes you can buy with all the money that you're saving. Trust me, it's the best decision. If you're already thinking it, stick to it. The people that need to be there will. Everything will align for you, and the people that you're going to learn their true colors will just fade away. So I want to, again, congratulate you and give you the best of luck. Keep me posted if you need any resources. Please reach out. I'm always here. I think it's just such a powerful boss move when people finally decide that it's not for them anymore. Okay, hopefully that answered your question or anybody else that's going through that. Okay. My partner doesn't support my growth. What do you suggest I say to make them realize that? Question mark. Okay. This kind of ties in with the whole drinking and like fitness, and when people turn a new leaf and okay, I experienced this a lot with my own family, more particularly my brother. I can never change because he's always thinking about the old version of me. And it doesn't hold me back because I'm still doing my thing. But what it does is it holds him back, I think, in his mentality, and it holds our relationship back. He never supports my growth. I don't know if it's a jealousy thing. I don't know if it's, he does always bring to my attention because I never have done things the conventional way. You know, like I have worked jobs like where they're like corporate 9 to 5s, but then at one point in my life, especially when my ADHD became a lot more heavy, in my adult years, and then after I had the baby and my daughter and whatnot, I started doing things unconventionally. I started looking at life differently. And that's just the way that I look at it. Now, there's some people that agree with me and there's some people that don't. Okay. I just think that I don't know if it's ADHD or it's just NOS. It's just Nastran Kazemi, who I am. But one thing I didn't want to do is be a slave to other people. Okay. And I'm going to get back to my partner's apartment. I just kind of get this off my chest because it kind of aligns with this. And my brother will always use the line or the comments that like I'm living this lifestyle where I want to like explore myself off of other people's backs. You know, like no one has the luxury of just following their dreams because people need to work, people need to pay bills, and I should be ashamed of myself that I'm not doing that because I have a kid to feed too, and I rely on my parents and him to support my lifestyle. Okay, I don't rely on any, like, no one pays my rent. I have income coming in. I just want to make that clear. But I have taken huge risks in my life. For example, just quitting my job before knowing what's coming next. Having lots of money saved, being in sobriety, and then all of a sudden blowing it all on shopping, and then I lose my good job where I was getting paid cash every day. Taking the leap and moving to Mexico. I pay my rent in Mexico. I buy my own groceries in Mexico. But there have been times that I don't have money. And so the first person or people that I look to are my family. And maybe that's where I am wrong. And I understand that because I'm the type that when I had the money, I wasn't paying for things for people, but I would book trips and I would encourage my mom and my brother to come visit. Don't pay for anything. I have the hotel room. You guys just come. If you want to do anything, maybe buy us a couple dinners. I remember one year we went to Vegas. I rented a car. I took them out to Death Valley. Like, I rented the car. I wouldn't. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying that's just the way that I am. But not everybody is like me when it comes to money, you know. And maybe that's why I don't have any of it. I'm too generous. I don't just give it to people. But in my head, I'm like, money comes and money goes. This is my mentality. And I have had to suffer because I thought that. I have had to dumb myself down and make myself feel and get bitched at by my younger brother. And sometimes he gets into a fight with me. He's like, I'm allowed to talk to you however the fuck I want because I'm the one that's giving you the food on your table. Like, these are the things that we fight about, you know? And my daughter hears it. And sometimes my own mother will be like, shame on you, blah, 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 you know, like, it happens. But I think part of it also is, and I take my own accountability, like, I shouldn't be asking for them. If this is a lifestyle I want, then that's fine. But I shouldn't be dragging other people into it, even if it's for $300 for groceries. That's fine. I understand. That's their stance with money. People have different relationships with money. Okay. But one thing I know for a fact is that both my brother and my mom see me as the old way, and they don't see me trying. They don't see the growth that I've made. They say, you've done nothing with your life. Really? Because I have raised my 12-year-old daughter by myself. I lived on my own majority of the time. I think when my daughter was 3, I kind of had this hiccup with an ex-boyfriend. So she went and she stayed with my mom for only 8 months. I traveled to Australia. I did a lot of like self-searching, was trying to work, make money, realized that lifestyle that I was living wasn't going to work. Came back, got sober. So I've gone through things. Like, you can't tell me that didn't change me into a better person, because my daughter came and lived with me. We moved downtown to downtown Vancouver. I got a condo. I lived alone all the way until like 2024 when I decided to move out because, again, bad with my money again, lost it all. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make it back. I just got to figure this out. And then we were trying to move to Mexico. I'm like, let's just go to Mexico so I can recalibrate and figure things out. And we did. And that's where we've been. But it's just been a little bit tough. And so they'll come and they'll bitch at me. And then when they were leaving, because they came during Christmas, they left me with money. They're like, this is for you. The whole time they were bitching at me. And they ruined our time together. Like, every day I was crying. And then when they left me money. And he's like, I'm so proud of you for it's like, why couldn't you have just said to me from the beginning? So back to this person who says my partner doesn't support my growth. I 100% understand this. I think that some people are just determined in seeing us how we were, because potentially the way that we want to be can do a number of things to them. Because how could someone not want to support you, even if it's with no currency? That should be something that should be given to you for free, right? Well, that's what I think anyways. So just think about it with your own self. Like, if someone's telling you something, things that you see on social media, like, I always question myself, why is it that certain things piss me off about people, you know? And then I evaluate it and I'm like, could it be that, like, they're going to be more successful? Like, they figured it out and I still haven't figured it out. And that's a growth for that person that I'm not necessarily supporting. I'm kind of like almost envious of, you know? And then there's other people whose paths are not even aligned with yours, and you're more inclined to congratulate them and support them because you know that it's not it just doesn't walk the same steps as yours. So how they got there, it's not similar to you. So you don't think that you're behind, or that they're ahead. You're just sort of celebrating growth of someone. Um, it's always triggering for them because they're so used to partners, families, seeing you a certain way. And to see you a different way requires a lot of them because you're already doing the growth. That's why they're already triggered. There's a change happening with you. Okay. That clearly has set off some buttons in this person, your partner. And I'm not making excuses for them, but it could be that they've never seen this type of growth before. So they're kind of questioning, like, where did this all of a sudden come from? My favorite, but actually least favorite, the thing that I hate when people say is when they're like, this is not the person that I married. This is not the person that I met 20 years ago. Well, shit, son or ma'am. 20 years ago, that person was a kid. That person is not the person who I am. All these experiences that we've gone through in life should actually change you, shape you, have you see some growth. How dare you say that I am not because I am not the person that you married 20 years ago. I got a whole bunch of wrinkles, some crow's feet, a little baby belly, and a little bit more extra stretch marks to prove that I'm not that same person that I was 20 freaking years ago. But for some reason, it's triggering something inside of them. So I always, again, reflect what is my part in this? What can I do to kind of like steer this another way? First is communication. Okay, I'd be like, listen, partner. Now, if it gets violent because with my family, if I start talking to them, my brother always turns around on me. So I've stopped going to them. And then here's the funny part, totally tangent, but he'll be like, you stop telling me things. Yeah, because every time I tell you things, you refer back to who I was 20 years ago. So I've learned that I don't go to support for anything to my family. They're just incapable of providing me the support that I need. And when I talk to my therapist, she had said the same thing. She's like, you're going to learn who to go to for certain things, for support. Some friends are there and they're really good at you for that. And some friends are good at giving this type of support. Some friends are good at giving you this type of advice. You're going to learn who to go to. And unfortunately, it's not always going to be your family. So I've just stopped telling them things like that, because they're just not supportive. And it's not that they're not telling me what I want to hear. They literally downgrade me and put me in a hole. And I'm by nature just a very positive person. And my brother likes to say, well, I'm realistic. Well, positivity can be real at the same time. Like, why can two things not be true? Anyways, so it's a conversation piece. If it gets violent, if you're noticing that it's constantly dragging you down, it's about like, well, you shouldn't be growing. And like, this is not the person that I married. And it's like they're not listening to listen. They're not listening to hear you. They're just listening to respond, to fight with you, to try to get their point across. Maybe you guys have just outgrown each other. Because I think part of growth is where, especially with a partner, like again, when I'm talking to my therapist about my friends, family, but I'm not necessarily living with these people. These aren't the people that I share mortgages with or have joint bank accounts with, or you know what I mean? So I can have my space from them. But imagine that toxic environment where you're trying to grow, you're trying to do the best for your new self, and you're kind of like a butterfly you're a worm. Is it a worm that's in a cocoon? And you're trying to like bust out into the cocoon as a brand new butterfly, but they're still holding you back. Like it's just negative talk, and it's like they don't want to see that growth in you. Like they're not even trying to listen and hear you. I think it's time to reconsider that it's time to move on from these people. Again, I'm not married, and don't ask me for relationship advice because I always encourage breakups. But I think that like, if an environment is toxic, put a plant in a toxic environment, it's not going to grow, or it's not going to grow much. But you surround that plant in a beautiful environment where it's getting lots of sun, water, and just words of affirmation, and it's going to blossom. And if the plants around that other plant don't want to, it's going to start affecting that one plant. Just like a bunch of good fruit in a bowl and you have one rotten one, that one rotten one is toxic enough to destroy all the other good fruits. It's just like people that like get thousands of great comments under their photos, but that one negative one destroys their day for the next day, week, hour, whatever. It's because toxic is so much more powerful than positivity, unfortunately. And you can only be positive for so long before the toxic starts catching up. So you have to physically remove yourself out of those environments. I don't know your partner. The question is quite vague, but it's really up to you to decide if this is an environment that you're able to continue to grow in. Should you seek outside sources? I mean, especially being a partner, someone that you're living with, it's tough because like they're going to see that growth every single day. They're going to say nasty comments. Another thing I would say is maybe encourage them to do the growth with you. I don't know whether it's a change in fitness or you're just kind of shedding old skin and growing into a new version of yourself, quitting drinking, deciding that you don't want to be friends with certain people anymore, changing careers. Just your mindset has changed, perspectives changed. Encourage them to kind of walk that with you. Invite them along to the AA meetings if you're going to them. I'm just throwing out examples here. Invite them to the gym with you. Do hikes together, more walks together. Maybe that will also encourage them to feel better and encourage a little bit more growth and change in them. And then you guys can kind of walk it together. But I really think that, unfortunately, when you grow and you change, you're going to be leaving things that are used to the old you behind. And sometimes that's family, and sometimes that's partners, sometimes that's friends. Sometimes that's cities, countries, things that you're so used to that have kind of kept you behind and that are no longer going to support you in this next chapter, similar to the whole drinking question that I got. So it comes down to you. It's a real reflection on you. Really think about what you need to continue to grow and what this next version of you requires. And if the people that are in your life are not aligned with that, then it's time to start shedding those people, places, and things, as well as the skin that you're kind of growing out of. Hope that answers your question. Okay, let's continue on. So I saw a really good one here. Okay. These are all so good. What is one moment when your mental health scared you, and how did you find your way back? I would have to say that a moment that my mental health really scared me was probably when I was completely at my lowest so I'd gotten clean and sober. I had a job which was paying cash, okay? Such a good job. And I had all this money saved up, and then I blew all the money. So then it was harder for me to pay my rent, and things just happened all at once. And you guys, I literally, I'm being so honest with you right now. Like, that has really never happened to me, but I could not get out of bed. Like, I literally just kept sleeping for 4 days straight. My room was a mess, not because I'm a dirty person, but because I was packing, because I realized, okay, I'm going to start packing up my house, that eventually when I do find a place I can move out of here quick. Like, it was just giving me anxiety, but I think I overwhelmed myself so much that I just slept for 4 days straight. I wasn't on any medication, no ADHD medication, nothing. And I think that was so scary for me because, again, my room was a complete mess. My daughter had to like climb over the clothes that I was trying to pack. I didn't even wake her up for school, but then eventually she was just like, I need to wake up and go to school. She's like, Mom, I'm going. She would go to school by herself, come back. There was no food. Like, I wasn't cooking. It was tough. And that moment really scared me because I was like, what's beyond this now? Because I'd never been in a place like that before. And I was like, okay, so now that I've experienced this, like, is it going to be worse than this for me? You know? It was one of the scariest things that I've ever had to go through. Um, I think that when I think back on that time, I realize that I didn't even get to a place that I'm sure, and for every single person it's different, but that most people had gotten to decide to unalive themselves or just do really bad things, that like it just feels because it's like it's the end. So like, who cares anymore? And I was like, wow, I feel like I'm not far off from that. It was a really scary, tough, dangerous place to be in. And I'm just so glad that God, I feel like it's God, like I could have felt his energy. He completely stopped me. Like, I get to places where um it does get dark, and I think it's happened a lot more as I've gotten older. I think that's I'm just throwing out what I'm aware of. I just think that it's mixed with like life choices and um everything that you've seen and kind of all this knowledge that you have and all the again stuff that you've seen and heard of, and there's the world and the way that it is in the moment, because it's not like the best right now, the world. And it's okay. I always have to make things so that people understand what I'm saying. It's like when you're going to a new city. Okay, like for example, people come to Vancouver and we have the downtown east side, which is a bunch of homeless, drug addicted people. They're not necessarily violent. They can be, but I think for downtown Vancouver, it's not. I love how my tangents kind of go off and explain things to you as well. Like you learn something, but at the same time, I'm trying to like make a point. Love it. Anyways, kill two birds with one stone, right? But downtown Vancouver, if someone warns you about it, you're going to walk into it being scared. If someone warns you about an area, you have a preconceived notion about it. If someone warns people about don't go down to Mexico, it's scary, that person's now like have like it's like their eyes are like a deer in headlights, like everywhere they go, because someone has put this idea in their head. A kid growing up, if their parents tell them there's monsters under the bed, they're going to grow up thinking they're going to check every night to see there's monsters. They're going to even start probably seeing those monsters because they've just been told there's monsters under the bed. I've never told that to my daughter, so she doesn't have nightmares like that. You know what I mean? Um, whenever I'm going to a new city, I might check out what are the better areas, but I don't try to read too much into it because I just want to go explore it for myself. Trust me, we're not dumb. We're gonna go to a new city and we're gonna see which one's the bad area and which one's the good area. We're not that retarded. Um, so I think that my mental health was like getting to a point where I didn't know how bad it was gonna get but I heard it from other people, and I realized that this is just not who I am. Like, it's just not who I am. So I don't remember exactly what I did, but I'm going to say this about getting back on track is that it's tough. It's hard. It's not easy. So easy for me to talk about it now because it's past and I'm going through my own trials and tribulations right now. But when you're in it, when you're in the thick of it, it's just the hardest thing to see the light at the tunnel. So my only suggestion for getting out of it, because that was a dark time for me, like the darkest. Like I've had tough times, and I will continue to have tough times. Like I see a long road ahead of me to get to where I want to be, but like it being tough and dark is a whole nother battle. And I don't think my mental health failed me. I think that you just have to go through it. Like if I was constantly sleeping at that time, it's for a reason. My body was just somehow telling me, without it connecting to my brain, that I needed some rest. The body just needed rest. I was too much in fight or flight that like I didn't have the energy to just be awake anymore. So I could only do in that time what I could only do. So if my body was only capable of sleeping in those few days, all I did was sleep. I just honored it. I just slept. I'm like, okay, another day of sleeping. Here we go. to a point that after 4 or 5 days, I started waking up out of it. I'm like, I have a little bit more energy. Like, I'm kind of bored. I don't want to just go back to sleep. But as soon as I closed my eyes, I would go back to sleep. So the thoughts were starting to turn around, you know? And I think, thinking back actually now in this moment, one thing I didn't do is try to shut down any type of thought that came to my head. I just let it pass through. Kind of like what they say in meditation, you know? If a thought was coming to my head like, fuck, I haven't done anything in 3 days. What the hell? I just let it pass through. And then the next thought, like, I'm actually kind of bored about sleeping. Like, geez, how much more can I sleep? Let it go through. But then I would find myself that I fell asleep again. I would wake up a few hours later. So I just was aware that I was having these thoughts. But it's not until now that I realized there was a shift. Because initially, I'm being honest, when I got into that state of mind, I had no thoughts. I think it's because I was just trying to redirect it or just shut it down, because I think I got into that mode because I had too many thoughts of everything that was going on around me. And sometimes, and that's why I feel like they say meditation is so powerful, because sometimes the only thing that you can do is to just allow the thought to come. You have it, you let it go. And I think that takes less of a toll on your body and is less exhausting than trying to like shut down or like tennis racket back every thought, bounce it back that comes to you, because that's more exhausting. It's just going to come anyways. And I think that once I just let my brain, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to think it, just let, I don't remember exactly my mindset. I didn't take notes. I never want to feel it again. But in my head, I was like, okay, if I'm going to feel this, let's feel it. Let's go. So I just would lay there and just feel it. Pretty sure I told myself a bunch of times, how the fuck did you get into this situation again? And slowly, as the days went on, I'd finally start getting out of bed, start to feel hungry again, wanted to do this, wanted to do that, knew that I had a whole boatload of work that I had to complete. Was sick and tired of climbing over the clothes, so started folding a little bit here and there to make a pathway, you know, so slowly things happened. I think that it's not that I didn't expect big things out of myself at that time. It's just that I couldn't. I was even too exhausted to think about getting anything done. And back to this question, how did I pull myself out of it? I really can't give you a direct answer. I just know that I just literally it was just a day by day. Like, I didn't think, oh my God, in 3 weeks, I didn't have thoughts like that. I couldn't. I had to, then I would start combating those thoughts, because like that was too overwhelming for me. It would make me go back into a sleep, because my body was sick of what? Flight or flight, trying to figure it out. It was just so much overwhelm. So I was literally in the present. Woke up. How do I feel? Am I hungry? I'll walk to the kitchen. Am I sick of walking over these 3 shirts? Folded them up, put it to the side. Am I still exhausted? Climb back into bed. Did I want to watch something? No. And gradually every day, I would return back to doing a little something. Till finally, like, the day came where I was fully out of bed. My sleep pattern was back to normal. Not necessarily like 10 to 6 a.m. sleep, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., but like I was sleeping at night again and waking up in the morning, brunch time, you know? And I was able to function throughout the day again. And having enough sleep and not being in so much fight or flight, having your nervous system rested a little bit, finally also got me back on track to kind of organize and clean and to just kind of like keep up with like what I needed to, you know? I'm hoping that I'm helping. I just know that you do get out of it. I mean, look at us. Every single person that has gone through things like this, 2 things happen. Okay? Look at our beloved Anthony Bourdain and Robin Williams. They either get to a point where they feel like that's the only option, or they actually get through it. I don't want to talk bad about them because I love them, but I feel like at that point you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And it can take 2 routes. There's just 2 routes that you can take at that point. It's tough, you guys. It's a tough world out there. I just feel like it's getting so much more negative as we're getting older. I'm a millennial. I was born in 1984. Um, it's scary to see the world. So I obviously like moving forward. So let's pass that time because that was one of the darkest times. Past that time, I don't really like to listen to the news or watch the news or hear the news. Just the other day, me and my daughter were walking back from the movie theater and it started snowing because we're back home right now. And I was like, maybe this is the time that I should be listening to the news. And she started laughing. She's like, yeah, we were like drenched in snow. Like it looked like, those cars that it snows for a little bit and then the snow starts gathering on the vehicle. We looked like that. um, Mind you, the theater's not too far from my mom's place, but um, it's tough. It's freaking tough, but it gets better. And then, so now what I do is I try to keep myself busy all the time. I have something to do. I actually gave this piece of advice to my daughter, and everything kind of connects. Do you guys see how I connect everything? I talked about this on the earlier questions. When you have boundaries and you're able to say no, it's so much easier than just getting fed up and withdrawing yourself completely. Because once you withdraw yourself completely, it's so hard to get back into the swing of things. Pardon me. It's so hard to find friends again. It's so hard to be included in groups again because people get used to not inviting you or assuming that you just don't want to come. Or as dorky and as unfun as I think some things are, that social interaction, I feel like sometimes, as I hate to say it, is necessary. And it's going to do for now until I find a group of friends or something that I exactly want to do. And I listen to this. At that time that I experienced that mental breakdown, I was also still working out. So the gym sometimes doesn't always save you. You know what I mean? Like the gym is great. It's a great tool and it saves you from a lot of things. But sometimes when it's your brain that's just exhausted from constantly trying to think and again, fight or flight mode, even the gym can't save you at that point. Everything has its breaking point. So I guess the best advice that I can give. So that's how I got through that. Okay, that's how I survived that. My one of my lowest mental health breaking points that I have had in a long time. Okay, but now what I'm doing to try to make sure that I don't get back there is to just be busy and always just learn to say no rather than being like, oh fuck this, these people are pissing me off. I'm not going to hang out with any of them anymore, and then completely cut myself off, and now I have nothing, or I don't want to do this anymore and completely have no work, completely clear my schedule, just sit at home and watch TV all day long. And then you're really doing nothing all day long. You know what I mean? And as long as you're constantly doing something, even better if it's something that you love to do, and or you're at, or however you want to put it, you're also involved in things, a gym community, something that's physical. I don't want anything online because online is what's killing it. Um, as long as you're also involved in something, it's really going to make a difference for your mental health. You're less likely to get to those places that are really dark, and you're less likely to stay there for too long of a time or too long of a period. Last thing I do want to say about things that have to do with mental health is honor yourself, honor your mental health, honor your mental. We are humans. We live as a quadrant. It's mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. If you're spiritually fit but mentally unfit, it just doesn't make sense. If you're emotionally fit, mentally fit, spiritually fit, but you're physically unfit, it just doesn't make sense. It can never always be balanced, but you could always work on all four to try to keep it as balanced as you can be. Because if the scales are way too off, if you're extremely obese and you have all these health problems, how is it that you're going to be mentally fit, emotionally fit, and spiritually fit? There's something lacking. Because physically fit, you could be 70, oh no, that's too much. You could be 48%, mentally 20, there's the numbers have to kind of match up. But if it's too much in one quadrant, it's going to be too less in another. And the problem incurs is when you try to pretend that everything is all good, because nothing is all good. And it's just the choices that you make, you know? I think the last thing that I want to say about this, to not be fully self-aware, to not really have those moments where you're alone and you kind of dig into yourself and you just question yourself and you talk to yourself in your head or you write things down, you're really doing not only a disservice to yourself but to the people around you. We all have issues. We all have faults. We all are freaking great and fantastic at things. Not taking your own personal inventory is, forget about other people. You're disservicing yourself so much. Because everyone's going to be thinking about themselves first. It's like when the plane goes down, they say you give yourself the air mask first, then you give it to the next person. Because if you can't breathe, it's going to be it's going to be hard helping other people, right? You're not perfect. No one is. No one comes close to it. The people that you see on social media, or you're just passing by for a split second, they might look perfect in that minute. Maybe they're on their way to work or to a photo shoot, or they've worked hard for something. They're going to meet up with friends. You never know what's in that moment. But outside of that, not everyone looks perfect all the time. Not everyone has perfect this, perfect that. Allow yourself to be okay with that. Because if you keep going back to try to recreate a moment and try to make that moment perfect, you're just missing out on what's ahead, and it keeps you stuck there, and that's when things start building up and piling up, you know? You're resilient. You're strong. You have grit. You can do it. You haven't survived this long to not come out on the other side and be on top. So give yourself the benefit of the doubt. You deserve it, and I should be taking my own advice. But also, like, you can do it. Just take it day by day. And the days that you feel like, I'm never going to get out of this, take that thought out of your mind. That's too long term. You're never going to get out of this. It's too obsolete. What do you mean you are never? That's too, like, don't think that far ahead. Just think about, what do I need to do? Do I need to go back to bed? Do I need to go back to sleep? Go back to sleep. Go back. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt anybody else. Just go back to sleep and sleep it off. Wake up in another couple hours and ask yourself, what do you need? Do you need a glass of water? Do you need to go to the washroom? Maybe you haven't pooped in 3 days. Go poop. Do you need to go back to bed after that? Go back to bed. Because there will come a time where you won't be able to sleep anymore because your body's caught up. Your nervous system is a little bit more regulated than it was when you started the whole sleeping. Trust me when I say this. Take it hour by hour, minute by minute, day by day. Don't think a week ahead. That's too far in advance. We don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 10 minutes. What do you need right now? Need to go for a walk? Go for a walk. It's really tough. I'm not saying it's easy. But if you can just listen to other people and what has helped them and just adapt something for yourself in those moments, I think that is the best thing that you can do for yourself. And being self-aware. Knowing what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. Being able to take accountability. Fuck, I fucked up on that so bad. Shit. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to do it this way. I want to say sorry to that person. Fuck, I shouldn't have done that to them. Who cares? People move on. And you're saying, okay, well, then if they move on, why do I need to apologize? Because it's going to make you feel better. It's going to make you get out of your rut. Trust me when I say that. This isn't going to be the last time I talk about mental health. Mental health is one of those things that it's just, unfortunately, it's tough. But we're going to get through it, okay? I promise you, you're going to get through it. We're all going to get through it. If you guys need anything, please feel free to reach out to me, okay? I want to be there for you guys. I want to give you resources. It's a really strong, extremely tough topic. And it's very important that we make sure that we're aware. And if we see the signs in other people, we reach out, okay? Let's take a turn. That's kind of deep. I'm very deep and I love it. This I'm gonna do the last one because I just take forever to answer the questions. I'm sorry. Hopefully, you guys get some insight out of it. But last one is, what is the biggest lie you once believed about love, and how did your life prove it wrong? Okay, well, let's start with, I'm single and I've never been married, and I've never even gotten to a place where I've been proposed to. So the first lie I think that I believe was that everything's like a Disney movie or like the movies. I think part of the reason that I believe that is because I, at home, did not see parents that were in love. They never showed affection to each other. They were constantly fighting. They stayed in a loveless marriage, and they divorced when I was actually 25, because I realized at that point I'd witnessed a lot of the abuse that my dad did towards my mom and to myself physically. But my mom, I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying this was my view of what love was. And I was like, this is not what the movies is. It's exactly what the movies is, because I had nothing else to compare it to. I know I didn't want what my parents had. I wanted what was in the movies. But growing up, you realize that a man has eyes for everything that walks. Not that he's going to sleep with it. But like, if you ever notice a man and woman where they're together, the woman won't notice the other woman as much, or she does, but she's very good at like pretending that she doesn't, because she doesn't want that woman to think that she's hot. It's just a woman thing. Anywhere in the world. When you're in Mexico, same thing happens. Especially when they're with their husbands or man. Same thing happens in Europe. Same thing happens in Spain and England and Iran. Same thing. The woman notices that the another woman, especially when she's with her man, she don't notice that woman. That woman don't exist. She could practically run you over. But men will notice. Men are looking right at you. Because that's a man. That's what they do. They might not be noticing you to like try to frick you in their brains. They're just men. They think with two brains. One that's down there that moves, and one that's in their skulls. So when I start to grow up and I realize that, I'm like, wow, my man doesn't just have eyes for me. Maybe it's also because I'm different. Like when I'm in lust and love, whatever, I only see that person. Like nobody else is good looking to me. I don't even want to talk to any other man. Men aren't like that. This society isn't like that. And then as you get older, you realize that that guy that you thought you were talking to is also talking to 10 other bitches. And I'm like, what? Excuse me? I thought that you were like, oh no, he's weighing out his options. Oh, okay. Wow, I thought that he maybe wanted to put all that energy into me for now. And then if you really, okay. So then now you're putting your heart and soul into all these things, and people are only giving you 10% because they have 9 other girls to talk to. Great. Another lie. The movies don't make it seem like that, and sure as hell not the Disney movies. And then you just get men that are there for one thing and will say anything. You're like, wow, all that work just to get into my pants? Jeez. Who has time and effort for doing all that? They won't commit. And then you meet men that are with women and you see how they act. And their rings are off and they pretend that they don't have women and they're asking you for your phone number. And then later you see them with their women and you're trying to say hi and he's completely ignoring you. All these things I saw as I grew up. And I'm like, this is the number one. You know that feeling that you get? Now apparently it's not butterflies. They call it your nervous system telling you that that guy's not the right one for you. That was another lie that I believed. I'm like, damn, love at first sight. That guy's so hot. When I really like someone, I think he's so good looking. Like, I'm acting like a 5-year-old in front of him. I don't look at him in the eyes. I'm like, my words come out weird. The guy that I like thinks that I'm a freaking weirdo because I can't even look at him in the face and talk to him normally because I have those butterflies. But any other dude, I can talk to them normally. I can articulate. But it's wrong to feel that way because that guy has somehow triggered my nervous system. It's actually that it's a physiological response. He's not good for me. Wait. So you know what? I just gave up. So now there's no such thing as love at first sight. Because my aunt and my uncle, they married and they were together for 4 years before they told anybody. And they didn't even talk in that 4 years. They would just stare at each other. And that's love at first sight. Something like that I would want, but it just doesn't exist anymore. I've never been on a dating app. I want to meet someone organically, People can say anything through a computer. I also don't like people that just like, when you meet someone, all of a sudden you're dating. It's like, that was also a lie. Like, you need to get to know the person first. Let's build a friendship. Like, why are you asking me out right away? You have know nothing about me. How do you know that you like me? Get to know me for 2-3 years. Do you still like me after then? Okay, let's maybe date now. But that also never happens because 2-3 years go by. But he's been with 100 girls since then. Those are the biggest lies that I believed about love. And I think that life, and especially now I'll be 42 at the end of this year, life has shown me that that's not all true. So, yeah, that's my love gone wrong, lies been told story. Okay? Guys, it's been fun. I have so many more questions. It's my fault, I think. I think I just ramble on and on, but I just want to give the best response. I just want to make sure that I articulate, and I really like to go deep. I really love answering the questions. Send them in more, or send more in, please. I will resume to regular programming soon, recapping Housewives. I'm going to try to be a little bit more shorter, just kind of get to main points that I feel throughout them. I have lots of projects coming along the way. It includes some more podcasting for you guys. Different podcasts, though. So keep that in mind. It will include me with another person. Hint, hint. So, but I'm still going to keep the pursuit of happiness my baby. I'm going to keep working on it because there's times I just want to do my own thing, say my own thing, have my own content. So with that being said, thanks again for listening, pursuers. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share. Don't forget to rate and review. You can find me on Spotify podcasts, Apple podcasts. Please share this with your friends. Please leave comments. Please visit me on my socials. All my socials are in the show notes. Love you guys. Thank you for being here. We're getting to 1,000 downloads. I'm so excited to get there. Thank you so much for all your support thus far. And I will see you next time.